Franklin Mint beginnings. Well, Franklin Mint had its beginnings in 1964. It originally was going to be the National Commemorative Society and its first 50 issues here. This book talks about the beginnings. And we might start a little bit with this. The National Commemorative Society, born on a quiet spring day in 1964, is the product of a determined man's faith in a good idea. The man, Joseph M. Segal, was a successful publishing executive who felt that many coin collectors were becoming bored with collecting coins that offered little variety from year to year except for a change of date. His idea was to form a commemorative society which would produce, exclusively for its members, a monthly series of commemorative coin medals honoring people, places, and events that played a significant role in American history. To assure the desirability of these unique issues, each commemorative would be designed by a distinguished sculptor. Each specimen would be minted in precious metal with a proof finish of the quality traditionally reserved for the ultimate in medallic art. These commemorative coin medals would be limited in issue to one proof quality specimen for each member. Each specimen would carry an individual membership number on its edge, indicating its limited edition status. None would be produced for public sale, and the dies would be destroyed after each member received his specimen. Wow. So let's see. It continues. All these people who get involved. First announcement. They were taking in members beginning May 1st, 1964. And as time went on, they kept increasing the price of joining. And then June 30, 1964, they were done taking members. And it so happened they had at that time 5,252 members. And that was what they needed. That was what they decided to go with. And then they locked it into that number. No one else could join unless one of the 5,252 presently as members should leave. So they kept the numbers down. Very, very limited. But now here, the Franklin Mint, formed to take over minting of NCS commemoratives effective with the 6th issue, and we'll get to those issues shortly, is a fascinating outgrowth of the NCS program. The first NCS commemorative was produced by a metal manufacturer in Chicago, but Mr. Segal found himself hard-pressed to obtain the quality and security the series demanded. The search for a private mint which could do the job as desired was fruitless, so after arranging with a New England jewelry maker to produce the next 4 issues, the NCS president took the only course available by establishing a private mint himself. This new company, originally named General Numismatics Corporation, was organized to consistently produce proof-quality coin medals equivalent in quality to the finest proofs produced by England's famed Royal Mint. True proof quality is characterized by satin frosted relief areas against a highly reflective background of mirror-like finish. Normally we call that description a cameo proof. To achieve that quality and to maintain it consistently, the dyes in the metals had to be specially processed with many additional steps not required in the production of ordinary coins. Joining in the search, this is interesting, for such perfection at this point was Gilroy Roberts, then chief sculptor engraver of the U.S. Mint, who resigned that coveted post to help establish General Numismatics Corporation. Mr. Roberts, whose portrait of President Kennedy appears on the $50, was and is generally regarded as America's foremost portrait medalist. He became chairman of the new company, and Mr. Segal became its president. The veteran sculptor and the entrepreneur envisioned a private mint which would combine the highest technical competence with the most individualistic artistic quality possible. They sought out the finest engravers, the most modern equipment, and the most quality-conscious operating staff in the world, then brought them all to a facility which in only 5 years grew from a few people to an organization of 1,000. The Franklin Mint is now, this is about 1969 when this was published, the largest private mint in the world, and it was originally started just to produce NCS issues. So they are purely private issues. They're not coins of the realm. Interesting phrase in view of the fact that what would count as coins of the realm, a set of 10 dinar coins for Tunisia, which were produced in joint cooperation with an Italian coin press. I think each mint taking half of them. I'm not sure how you know which one was which on each set. which came out in 1969. And there would, of course, be a great many more to come. So it talks about some of these. Some of these designers are kind of intriguing here. There's a lot of these people. I don't know most of these names myself, but there's a few that surface that are, I think, a little bit interesting. We already know somewhere is Gilroy Roberts. We'll get to him in here somewhere. Felix Oscar Schlegg. Now, this is the gentleman who designed our Jefferson nickel back in 1938. Well, he also designed two of the medals here, one about Herbert Hoover and another one about Chief John Bigtree. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see here. Anthony de Francisci. He was the one who designed the peace dollar. He also did an interesting portrait of John F. Kennedy that's an interesting comparison to the one on the $50. It's interesting to see how two different sculptors would handle the same subject. Frank Gasparo also did one of them, a Star-Spangled Banner. So Frank Gasparo, as you know, did a lot of the coins for the United States Mint, starting with the back of the Memorial Cent and, of course, the back of the Kennedy $50, both sides of the Eisenhower dollar, Susan B. Anthony dollar. Okay, Gilroy Roberts, sculptor of the In God We Trust and 3 Astronauts coin medals. So he actually designed only 2 of this series, but he did a lot of other medals, I should say, coin medals for this company as the years went by for a good long time. Okay, so what's neat about this is it takes a very detailed description of each and every one of these medals. It talks about who they are and why they should be honored, because each month, somebody or something or some place or some historical event would be honored. This is the one by Francisci. But let's take a look at the coins themselves. Now, they would wrap them in these interesting containers that you could fill the coins gradually as you got them. A little plastic would slide out the end. I'll just slide it out a little bit here. You pull it out and you could pop a coin in. So anyway, this is the first one. It honored Douglas MacArthur. Interesting to compare against some of the other MacArthur commemoratives that would be made since. This one was done in Chicago. The medal was stamped, I should say. Then the jeweler somewhere, I think in London or someplace, honored the In God We Trust. So there we have it. In God We Trust. Frank Gasparo's. Okay, American Indian. America's first pioneer. That's kind of interesting to see. Oh, yeah, that's right. These medals first switched around this way. I shall return. 1942. I have returned. 1944. Okay. Oh, yeah. In God We Trust. Along with the coin that the saying first appeared. From this old stone church in Ridleyville, Pennsylvania, Reverend Mark R. Watkinson penned a letter to the Secretary of the Treasury, Salmon P. Chase, who's on the $10,000 bill, which led to the adoption of In God We Trust as the U.S. coinage motto and its first appearance on the 1864 2-cent piece. Okay, the American Indian, and then this was the one. Okay, here's one that's for John F. Kennedy. Yeah, because he got. Okay, and the glow from that fire can truly light the world. Well, okay. Anyway, starting with number 6, they were finally, here the Statue of Liberty, they were finally able to have their own press mint from 1865 to 1965, centennial of when that Statue of Liberty was. And here we have it. And here you see the Franklin Mint right there, that little funny looking thing. That's their mint mark as originally appearing. So then we move on. Okay, we have the Pilgrim's Landing, Herbert Hoover. So this was from Felix Schlegg. Interesting to see how he does that compare his picture of Jefferson on the nickel. It's kind of interesting to see how his style has moved. I don't know if I can shake that out of there or not. Well, Iwo Jima, Declaration of Independence. So there's the backs of these. Statesman, humanitarian, engineer. That was Hoover, okay. They gave their lives that we might live in peace. Okay, look at that. It's really amazing. Sir Winston Churchill. So, man, he did that. It was a big deal for him to do that. The man of the century. You think? I don't know if that still holds. Okay. Abraham Lincoln. Interesting. Civil War. Washington crossing the Delaware. 1776. Alright. Wright Brothers coin medal. Okay. Here, highly resolved. Wow. Look at that. First flight, Kitty Hawk. December 1903. Yeah, it goes back a while. Okay. 4 chaplains. Paul Revere. Gemini. Okay. Thomas Alva Edison. Okay. Albert Schweitzer. So here we have the backs of these. Midnight Ride, okay. Oh, Gemini, hey, that's cool. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Wow. Okay, continuing on. Pony Express. Battle of the Alamo. Christopher Columbus. Thomas Jefferson. Now, let's see here. General Custer, Custer's Last Stand. Well, let's take a look at this Jefferson. Now, this one, where do I have it? I do have it. An interesting thing happened. When they first released Jefferson, like this, okay, they made a mistake. Oh, that's interesting. They flip like a coin in these earliest ones, except for the 5 very earliest. It says that among us are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So somebody over there's that little mint mark again. NCS, there's a date when this was struck, 1966. NCS, National Commemorative Society. Well, obviously that had to be fixed. You can't be pursuing of happiness. So they had to fix that, and they changed it simply to the pursuit of happiness. So it's kind of neat to have 2 varieties of that one. Something similar happened with a couple others, unfortunately. In one case, I have only the corrected version, and in the other, I only have the original erroneous version. Okay. Let's see here. Charles Lindbergh, Benjamin Franklin, Lewis and Clark, Pearl Harbor. Wow. Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, interesting reverse. Dedication. So, whatever else you could say of these things, they were very pretty coins. Very pretty. Gemini astronauts. Alright, this was the other one. Done by Gilroy Roberts. You can actually see his distinctive signature, this funny looking thing there. It almost looks like well, some people saw it on the Kennedy $50 and thought it was a hammer and sickle, but it's just a very distinctive way to writing letters GR for Gilroy Roberts. We have not begun to fight. John Paul Jones. Well, you can call me John Paul Jones. Okay, well, I'll just call you John Paul Jones for short. Daniel Boone. Interesting character. Patrick Henry. Oh, gosh, he's all turned around. Okay, well. Okay, you see the backs of these. Wow. Okay. Let's see here. Will Rogers. Walt Disney. Wow. Conjure and Happy Dreams, huh? We had to do that one, huh? Alaska Centennial. Boston Tea Party. U.S.-Canadian Friendship. Yeah, that's nice. Alright. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Transcontinental Railroad. The Golden Spike. It was a real spike made of gold, but they took it right out after hammering it in. They didn't want to leave it there. Someone would steal it. Chief John Bigtree. Okay. Once again, an interesting mode of portrait to compare against how Felix Schlegel did his portrait of Jefferson. It's really fascinating. Carl Sandburg. Okay. New Orleans. Okay. Memorial Anniversary, Robert E. Lee. Anniversary of the ending of the World War I in 1918. Oh, yeah. Theodore Roosevelt. That's a good portrait. And Albert Einstein. And this is, by the way, he was born in 1879, not 1875. So what happened was that if they found that they were making a coin with an error, they offered those who had already received erroneous coins, you can keep your erroneous coin, or you can send it back for a corrected one, or you could buy an extra coin. There you get to keep your erroneous one and have the new one, but you have to do it that way. So there's all these things. Wherever there's freedom, there have been those who fought, toiled, and sacrificed for it. Well, okay. Well, thank you. That's all I ever knew about Carl Sandburg. That's interesting. So, Promotionary Point. Where they had the golden spike. So, this is really interesting. It all got their start in those very, very early days.